we're going to be doing x-rays on this doggy. We're going to use the CR7 plates, and for this shot coming up, we can get the canines and incisors on one shot. If it was a number 2, sensor or phosphorus plate, we could probably only get the incisors and then the canines in a separate shot.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna turn this.
So, if the dog is smaller, I'm going to tuck the tongue back, or you can shoot through the tongue. Okay?
You can do either?
You can do either. But he's just at the right size where it's not going to, the frenulum is not going to be in the way. The tongue's not in the way.
Okay.
So the sensor is just in front of the teeth that I'm shooting. In this case, it's probably about 1 inch. Make sure it's not crooked.
Okay.
I put like a piece of gauze or paper towel between the sensor and the upper jaw.
Okay.
And then we're going to come in at about a 10-degree
angle.
10-degree angle.
Yeah.
Which is about like that.
And how far do you put your machine to?
Depending on the plate that you're using, I'm using a number 4 plate. So I'm going to be about 4 to 6 inches away from the plate. If you were using a number 2, you'd be about 2 inches away. It's the center of the root. No matter what you're shooting, the center of the beam is the center of the root. So I'm imagining the center of the beam, and then I'm imagining the center of the root of the canines right now. Okay?
Of canines?
Yes, and remember the way to cheat? The second premolar corresponds to the root tip of the canines.
Oh, yeah.
And this works for the upper and lower. So if I go to the second premolar, here's where the canine root tips are.
Yeah.
Okay? And here's the gingival margin of the canine.
So you want it
So the center is the center of that x-ray head, x-ray beam. And it's got to be symmetrical. You don't want it like this. It's got to be very symmetrical. Like that. So I go. Okay. Oh my God, no way.
I got the gray one. You got the all black.
Oh my
Or
God,
did you get the gray?
Mine's black.
I got the gray one. It was so funny.
They didn't have much choices.
There were a ton where I was. You know, I didn't want one of those super glittery ones.
Premolars. So you recording? I'm doing the it could be 2 premolars, it could be 4 premolars, depending on the length of the mandible. So how I put it in, it's gonna follow the same angle as the crowns.
Okay.
Like that, the plate.
The plate will?
The plate, it's gonna be on an angle because the jaw is like a V, right? So it's just gonna be on the outside of the teeth that I'm shooting, which is those 3 or 4 premolars.
Okay.
Okay? Then this x-ray head's going to come down with a bisecting angle. And what a bisecting angle is here's the angle of the sensor or the phosphorus plate. Okay? Here is the angle of the root. So the angle of that x-ray head splits it in half.
Okay.
Like that. And it's going to be on an angle following the angle of the jaw.
Okay.
So what a lot of people like to do is they do this.
Yeah.
Because they're staying level with the table instead of staying level with the jaw. So we're going to come from front to back a little bit. Like that. And then in my head, I'm saying to myself, the center of that beam is the center of those roots. Okay? Another way to cheat, the front of this is going to be right on top of the canine tooth.
Okay.
Okay, I use landmarks.
Of the apex of the canine, or are you
No.
talking the... Okay,
Just
you're
the
talking
crown of the
crown
canine. So when I look down the x-ray tube, even if I'm using the Nomad, I want to see right here, the front of this is going to be right on top of the canine tooth. So I have a checklist in my head, and I line everything up, and I have those landmarks, and then it usually works. And if it doesn't work, it's close enough where I can make a correction and fix it pretty easily.
Okay.
So that looks right. So here's the angle of the plate.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the angle of the root, and there's the angle of the x-ray head splits it in half. If you want to come to the front, you can see that.
Alright, sounds good. Take care.
See that?
And it's still about 10 inches.
It should be about 6 inches away. That looks right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll show you the secret. The secret is it needs to be level with the jaw.
Oh. Do you want me to spray Windex in your face? I should have brought Vicks Vapor Rub.
It is what it is. It's just what I'm at.
And are you just working on the bottom half the jaw?
Right now, yes.
Actually have to. This situation's real.
Okay.
I don't smell anything anymore.
That's great.
I'm trying.
That's great.
You bring it back as far as you can go, but then I want this plate to be level with the mandible, so I'm gonna put a little piece of gauze in the front, and that's gonna try to level it.
Do you ever use a smaller plate?
On this size dog, I would not use a smaller plate, because I can
Okay.
get all 3 molars like that.
Okay.
If I was using, the dog was smaller, I would.
Okay.
The advantage of the phosphorus plate is that you have the bigger sizes. So when able to use the bigger size, use the bigger size.
Okay.
There's more room for error. So there's a trick to this one. This is the plain pool shot.
Yeah, that's the one I suck at.
It's really easy.
Okay.
Remember the peace sign? Did I show you that?
No.
Okay. So you do a parallel from behind at 20 degrees. 20 degrees, because I don't like to go by geometry, is a peace sign.
Okay.
So my sensor being in the right spot is important. So I know my sensor is in the right spot. So that's a parallel shot, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So point at the same molars. I'm pointing at the molar, the center of the M1.
M1.
Pointing at the center is the center of the M1, right? I'm going to point at the same spot, but I'm going to come from front to back a little bit.
And this is for the back molars.
It's for M1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
On
All
of
three
them.
of them.
All of them on this size
And
dog.
you can do that on a size 4 plate.
Absolutely. So it's a parallel from behind in 20 degrees.
Okay.
So do you see the peace sign?
Yeah.
That's the angle from the x-ray head to the mandible.
Okay. And you're pretty much right on.
Yeah, it's parallel. It's not like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So I find my parallel
Okay.
still centering on the same spot,
and back it
back to front.
front.
So it's still going to center right on the M1.
Okay.
That should do it.
Great. And you have it pushed as far back as it will go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's try that.
So.
And I go like this, make sure that that plate's level, right? Sticking out just in front of those incisors, like that. Okay?
Okay.
So there's your plate placement. Now we're gonna come down 20 degrees, which is a peace sign. And we have to be level. So this is gonna be level with the front. I'll show you.
Okay, so
I
this
have
is
to bring
another
my head.
parallel technique.
No, it's not parallel. There's only one parallel shot in the whole mouth.
Okay.
And that's the molars. Yeah. This is a peace sign one.
Okay.
But I'll show you the front of the head is level with, that's the hard part about this shot. That needs to be level. Once it's level, it's about a peace sign right here.
Okay. So level with the plate? Or
This right here, like right here,
Yeah.
if you put your head in the front, is level with this.
Okay.
And then the center of the beam is the center of the root. So lean down here, you can see is it level? I think so. Doing this head, I would do a number 4 and get all these teeth. So I'm only getting,
Okay.
you know, I'm not getting a separate one of these.
Are you gonna be worried about cone cutting though?
There won't be cone cutting.
There won't.
No.
Because as long as there's not cone cutting, it would be acceptable.
Well, you'll.
What's cone cutting? You should show her what cone is.
I've never had dealt with it, dental x-rays.
Yes.
I'm gonna show you a premolar shot,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna show you the molars and the upper fourth
Yeah, 'cause-
premolar.
yeah.
Even though I can get them all on one,
Yeah.
it's kind of 2 separate shots. If you were thinking about it, so I'll show you 2 separate ones because these 3 premolars are a bisecting angle.
Yep. And then the other one's not a
No.
bisecting. Yeah.
It's a bisecting angle from behind. That's what
Okay.
the other one is. And that's to split the roots. So I put it in similar to your canine shot,
Okay.
right? Because usually the canine you can get a couple of inside premolars, but we're gonna do it separately now. Here's where the center of the root is, right here. And this is a bisecting angle. And this is level with this.
Oh, okay.
This is level with this.
Okay. They're premolars.
Yep, if you want a separate premolar shot. I have
So
to
your
see.
plate is level with the top of
The edge of the
beam.
plate is level with the, oh no, this part of the x-ray head. And then it's a bisecting angle, which means here's the angle of your sensor or phosphorus plate, here's the angle of the root, here's the angle of the x-ray head, splits it right in half. So here's the center of the root, that's the center of the beam. The front of this x-ray head is going to be right on top of the canine tooth.
Oh, okay. That's a good way to
I
look
use
at it.
landmarks. So that looks right to me. So I'll show you. Now we're going to come more from the side to lengthen it. Like this. You ready? Center in the same spot, but more,
More up.
well, depends on how he's laying, but we're going to basically increase that angle.
Okay. And that's to lengthen the roots.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm gonna do the molars and upper fourth premolar. So this is gonna be all the way back in the mouth as far as it can go. Okay. All the way back and flat, like that. So then it's a bisecting angle from behind. So first, I'm gonna set a bisecting angle like that. Here's the center, okay? Then I take it and I just come from behind. And that's
So
it.
you keep the same angle, but you're
Yeah.
just changing the location.
It's a bisecting angle, and then I bring the whole x-ray head back and tilt forward a little bit. And that's just gonna split those roots. So then I go, is this my center? No, so I'm gonna tilt it a little bit. That looks right.